All right, making a quick video with you. We're going to go on Tinkercad here, and we're going to do stage 6 here. We're going to be designing a peg and card holder. So when we're working with our cribbage board, the cribbage board is one part, but the other part to remember, and maybe you're learning this about cribbage, is that it's a card game. So you need to have cards, and it's a peg game. You have these different pegs that hopefully are different colors, or you can be creative with that later. But these different pegs are what move around the board. But you got to have somewhere to store these things. Now, the pegs we're going to make here in class, the cards, they're on your own, but I did get the dimensions for you so you can make a 3D printed container that you can use for this. Most important thing we need to be aware of is what are the dimensions of the inside, because that's what's going to hold everything. So kind of put that in a document already. Most playing cards are 2.5 inches by 1/2 inch by 3 inches tall. Okay, 2.5 inches, 3.5 inches, 1/2 inch. And our little pegs here that we have are 1.25 inches tall, and from the top, it's a 1/4 inch in diameter. So 1/4 inch this way, 1/4 inch this way. So that's how much space they're going to take up. They don't take up a lot, but they do take up enough little space that you need to be aware of that. So I did create my own container, and with this, I made a little cap that I decided to make as like a clip-on, which is a little probably more tricky and more challenging than what you're probably comfortable making. We're going to give it a shot, okay? So what this thing does, it does hold my pegs. All 9 fit on the bottom, and then I can put the cards on top, and there's plenty of room. The cards kind of drop down to here. The pegs, when they're all in there, I'll go up to there, so there's plenty of room, and then it seals. So if I accidentally flip it over or something, it's going to hold it. You can be creative with your design. So I'm going to show you roughly the information you need to know. Kind of start one just to review some things about Tinkercad. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new design. And move myself up here to remind you down here in the bottom corner, we want to click Edit Grid. We're going to change it to inches, and we're going to change the presets to Dremel 3D40, 3D45, because that's the printers that we have. So there's our work plane. Yay! So just a reminder to you that the directions say that we're looking for something that's going to at least be 2.5 inches by 1/2 inch wide, and then at least 3.5 inches tall. And then don't forget the space for the pegs. So here's a real simple way I started mine. I started with a box. Okay. Now, if I know that the simple dimensions that I'm going to need is 1/2 by 2.5 inches, I'm going to, just to make it easy, I'm going to do just a little bit bigger. It doesn't have to be super thick. So I'm going to do 3/4, 0.075. And then if the width is supposed to be 2.5, I'm going to add a 1/4 inch there as well. So I'm going to do 2.75. So now I have a box that is bigger than what I have, and I only made it a 1/4 inch. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it, just to make it easier for myself, I'm going to do a whole inch by 3 inches. Okay? So if I know that my box is going to need to be at least a 1/2 inch in width, I know I have at least a 1/2 inch of play total around my perimeter of the piece. The other thing I have to be ready for is 3.5 inches tall. I'm going to go ahead and make it just 4 inches tall. So there's my box. That's the outside of it. Now we're going to have to create another box that we can put inside of it to cut it out. Okay. So I'm going to put another box right on top of ours here. And what I want to first do is I'm first going to give it the same dimensions, 1 inch by 3 inches. Slide that box to kind of fit in there. Okay. And now that I have that box, let's go ahead and make that 4 inches tall as well. So if I wanted to join these together and group them, what happens to the box? Disappears because I made it a hole empty. So what I want to do is I want to actually make this hole kind of inside the box. I want to have a little bit at the bottom, a little bit at the top, and a little bit on the sides. So now I'm going to change my dimensions. Remember that I said that it's a 1/2 inch in width. Let's do 0.75 here for our hole. Oops. make sure I got the right thing clicked. So I'm going to drag the box out for now. And I'm going to make it, as I said, 0.75. So it's a little bit smaller than the red part. This I'm going to make 2.75. So I'm taking a 1/4 inch off. And on the height, I'm going to make this 3.75. So now my box is a little bit smaller than the other box that we have, but I want to put it inside. So I'm going to get it inside there so it matches the box. And then I need to raise it up a little bit so that this box is somewhere in the center. Okay, raise it up so we have a little bit of base. Now what I can do is I can highlight these things and I can do an align and try to align them properly so that they fit neatly. One thing I noticed is the box that's on the inside, I don't want it sitting on the ground just like this one. So I want to raise it up a little bit. So I'm going to raise it up till I see a 1/4. There we go. We see 1/4 on the screen here, 1/4 inch. Now at least I know it's a 1/4 inch high. I'm going to put that inside the box, try to get it centered. And then I have to move it so that I have an even amount of space around the outside. You see that? That looks really good. And I can see on the bottom that I have a 1/4 inch, so there's some space there. And it does go all the way up to the top, which is nice. And actually what I'm going to do is make it go just a little higher so I know that it sticks out completely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to group it. And I have my box started. So again, the inside is what I'm most concerned about. And the inside's dimensions I know are bigger than the playing cards and stuff, so it'll be able to slide in there. Next is to come up with some sort of cover for this thing. And that I could be a little more creative with if I'd like. So I'm going to try something a little different than what I did with mine. I'm going to take this box here. And I'm also going to just see the height of my box right now is 4 inches. Okay, minus the 1/4 inch down there, we have 3.75 inches. So what I want to do is I'm going to make my box just a little taller. And you can go anyway. You can go a little wider if you want to make yours work. But I'm going to do 4.25. So I'm going to make it just a little bigger. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to try to create a little slide cover on it. So I'm going to take my box here, kind of line it up with the other one. I'm going to raise it up to the top so it's all matchy. And then what I want to do is I want to raise this thing up. Oops. That's not right. Let's undo that. Let's slide the box in here so it's right on the edge of the other box. But what I want to do is I want to make the height of it a little smaller. So right now it's at 1 inch. Let's put it down to 0.25 inches. So that's 1/4. And I can actually make it even smaller. I'm going to make it 1/8 inch. So 1/8. Okay. That didn't work. Let's see why. 1/8. All right, well then I'm going to just manually take the little box and shrink it down till it says 1/8. There we go, 1/8. I'm going to bring that up here. And I'm going to put it just above the top there. Just a little bit, or actually just a little bit below it. And now the other thing I'm going to do is bring it in. So I don't want it to be a whole inch. I'm going to do, let's do 0.75, 3/4 of an inch. .75. There we go. And I'm going to slide it so that it's in the center a little more. And actually I want it a little bigger than 0.75 because that's how big the space is in here. So if I made my fraction a little bigger, right now it's 3/4. If I multiplied both by 2, I'd have 6/8, which is the same. But if I do 7/8, that just did the 7. I'm just going to pull it out just a little more, 7/8. Now I try to center this. Now I see what the issue is. Right down here, my grid is only going up to 8ths. Let's make it go to 16ths so it's a little more fine-tuned. Try to find that center. There we go. Now it's a little bit centered, and you're going to see what I want to do here in just a little bit. We're going to bring that up just a little bit more, and now I have it kind of cut out. I'm going to have it go back just a little bit into the other side. Anyone see what I'm kind of doing here? Maybe you're catching on. So now you can see I have it kind of a little bigger than the edges, and it goes all the way around the outside. Kind of see how I did that? So what I want to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to put this one over here, okay? Then I'm going to bring this one down so it's sitting on the base of the board. Oops. Let's put it at 0. There it is. Now it's sitting on the bottom. Now what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to make this one solid. So now that one's set. And now what I'm going to do is take this piece and I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to make this grouped. Now what I've created, and hopefully it'll fit nice, is I created a little piece that's going to slide into the box and make a little top. And that's my design. So I'm going to need to email this to the teacher later. I'm going to put my name on it, Singer, and I'm going to call it card box. And I'm going to make sure that this gets sent to my teacher so that it can be made with my name on it. All I have to do is go to export and STL. And we're going to get these in a 3D printer. And now I have a nice piece here that when I bring it up to the right slot, it's going to fit in there and it's going to be able to go in there and lock in place. So the one little thing I do want to make a change of is I'm going to make it just a little bit longer. You see it says 2.937. Let's make it 3. And that's just so we have a little piece that's going to stick out when it goes all the way in. We need something to be able to pull it out. And actually, I'll make it even a little bit more. I'm going to do 3.1 just so I have a little bit more of a lip there that kind of sticks all the way in and just kind of grooves in, which is really nice. So that's my design. You can come up with your own things. You can try to match mine. Be creative and see what you can find. See what you can create. That's it.